Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Challenge All Stars 4, Episode 7, Reality Unloaded Podcast Review. And my name is Keeks.
I'm Lena D.
And I'm Brandon.
And again, we'll be unloading the latest episode of the Challenge All Stars 4, Episode 7. To be quite honest, there's not much to go over. It was a pretty dull and boring episode in comparison to the last few. But we're here for y'all and for ourselves because we wanted to do this. We signed ourselves up for this. It's not like somebody's holding something to our head. YouTube terms and conditions. I'm gonna mention that word. But yeah, so we're gonna get into episode 7 as much as we can. We have some drama that we want to discuss that has been happening and brewing in the social media streets, especially through Twitter and Instagram. A lot going on there. But let's get into the episode. Take it away, Lena.
Yeah, so the episode really kind of opens up, and like Keeks already said, it was a pretty slow episode, but we are seeing a little bit of relationships building throughout. So we really start by seeing Veronica kind of talk about how she's taking this opportunity to start building a relationship with Nicole, right? So she was able to talk Nicole out. Nicole's like, thank you for being honest with me about your intentions and what you plan to do with the game. So Veronica really wants to start creating a backup for her and Tina because she's lost Rachel, who was a really strong ally for them. What do you guys think about that?
I think it was smart on Veronica's end because at the end of the day, Rachel was the muscle of the Mean Girls in reality. So for her to kind of navigate that relationship with Nicole, I think it was definitely strategic, but very smart on her end, especially since it wasn't like it was made clear that they kind of made a deal when she reversed her vote to Jasmine last week. But I think it was a nice segue into, okay, how can I use this to benefit us?
Yeah, and if Veronica is nothing, she knows she's not the strongest physically. So she always has to come much harder with her strategy game. Do you agree with this move, Keeks?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, especially that Nicole saved her from going against her. So I don't see why not take advantage of the fact that she did that and try to return the favor in some sense by offering the fact that she also has Tina on her side. So if Nicole was to ever come into a predicament where she's up for elimination and Tina and Veronica are safe or are able to pretty much sway the deliberation, why not? So I mean, I think it's a smart move overall.
Yeah, definitely. And then we see further relationships kind of forming. We see Adam talking to Ryan. They're talking about their 20s. And then Ryan actually starts talking about his sobriety. And, he announces that he was 8 months sober. So definitely a big eye-opening moment for Ryan and very revealing to bring it up on the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I was very proud of Ryan, of course, as a watcher, as somebody that enjoys Ryan being on the show. I'm happy to see that they're happy in their sobriety and they just feel like they're on the right path overall in life. And hopefully Ryan just feels the support from the challengers, from the people in the house, the production team, etc. Because I can also imagine how daunting or just how stressful the house can be. So not being able to indulge in those activities while he's there, I'm sure sometimes they may waver or just come across his mind, but it's good to see that he's doing well. And shout out to Ryan. Honestly, I'm glad that we got to hear that side of Ryan because I don't think we really got to hear much from Ryan on their last time on All Stars either because they left early, but they didn't really allow us to highlight Ryan's history, etc.
Yeah, I'm
and
happy
again,
for
we
Ryan.
know.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
we know
think
that the challenge house is definitely like a party house. Me and Brandon just have points we're trying to get in. Oh man. Well, listen, we know the challenge house is a party house. So, only 8 months sober, that can't possibly be easy. So I just wanted to kind of mimic Keeks with the kudos because listen, it's not an easy task to take on. So definitely.
Absolutely. Props to you, Ryan. Respect it. And I'm here for it. So keep on going. We believe in you.
We continue to see more kind of cute moments at the beginning of this episode. We have one with Ace and Brad. That kind of blew me away. I didn't kind of see that connection. Keeks, what are you?
I mean, they were on the challenge previously around the same time frame, so I wasn't surprised by the connection per se. But I guess like we'll see later. Like it's just interesting how Ace was bigging up Brad, but kind of set up Brad to go into elimination later. Well, not really, but I feel like he influenced it with the story. I knew what you were gonna say, Brandon. Not really. I agree.
We'll get into that later.
We'll get into that. But yeah, I was I mean it's good that Brad is getting his flowers from his fellow challengers. Brad has done very well. He's been very close to winning like the All-Star seasons, but this season is just not going his way. Like it is sad, and I'm just like, Brad, what the hell is going on? You usually perform very well, and you actually typically dust the other challengers when it comes to All-Stars, and it's not happening this season at all.
Yeah, I agree. And as someone who's seen Brad throughout the years, he was kind of wild in his early 20s, and then he kind of matured into someone who was like, okay, I'm gonna actually take this seriously. And as a competitor, I think everyone in the house pretty much respects him. That's why in the challenge before, Laura was like, whatever you have blocking you, you need to figure it out, because this is not the Brad that they know Brad to be.
And so, Cara even said it there. She was like, you're Brad. Like, you're Brad.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You definitely hold a reputation in your game.
Yeah, so just seeing that, I was like, come on, Brad, pull it together. Like, we know you to be Brad, so be Brad.
Yeah.
I wanted to make a comment about that because I thought it was funny. She was just like, yeah, like, Brad, come on, you're like Superman kind of thing. And he was like, he made a funny Superman comment back or whatever. But then Cara goes, yeah, and Leroy's been doing bad too. Yeah. And I was like, dang, not Leroy catching a stray, Cara. We're not talking about Leroy. We're talking about Brad, who has been doing just as poorly, if not actually worse than Leroy at this point, because Leroy has one more than him has a star one, anyway. But I just thought that was funny. I was like, Cara, now you calling out Leroy like this. This is crazy.
Yeah. And we definitely see Leroy starting to pick up some steam. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but definitely that elimination win did Leroy a lot of good. But somebody else was throwing Ace under the bus with Flora. Flora came in with her 2 cents. She was not having it. And she said that she thinks Ace is a threat. Now, Brennan, I know you've become a big Ace fan. Give us some feedback on that.
So I didn't become an Ace fan. I always respected Ace because I like he's one of the challengers I feel on the franchise that thinks like on an even level. He's not like gonna be swayed by something that happens. I think he'll always come in neutral and say what's fair and what's right as opposed to what's not. So I agree with Flora to a certain extent. I do think he is like an undercover agent. Like, he's nice to everyone. No one really has any animosity towards him, and he pretty much is on good terms with everyone. So he is someone to watch out for. If I was in the house, I personally, if I'm not working with him, I want to get him out.
Yeah, he definitely isn't the one to rock the boat. So he doesn't usually put a big target on his back. But he does perform. He shows up on daily challenges. He shows up with his different partners. And he really has kind of skills around different competitions. Like he's good with trivia, he's good with physical, he's good in exactly. So he definitely is an all-around threat. But I think the nice guy kind of covers that threat. But Flora's seeing right through it.
Yeah. I mean, she calls it out. She said it. She was like, you know, he's an undercover agent. He's playing people. He's trying to befriend everybody, which is pretty much a good game to strategy or mindset to go into it so that you're protected in all parts. But yeah, I mean, I did laugh too when she called him Carl's puppet, because I was like, I mean, I don't blame him for getting close to Carl either. Like they've always had a pretty solid relationship, but I mean, why wouldn't he get close to Carl? She's the biggest competition there.
Yeah, fair. And that takes us into the daily challenge. Face the facts. Brandon, break it down for us.
All right. So this daily challenge is obviously trivia, which is TJ's favorite and also my favorite. So I was super excited to see it being played. So in this specific trivia challenge,
sorry to cut you off, Brandon, but guys, do you not love the way TJ laughs? Like when he sticks his tongue out, like
yeah, he's
laughs like right, like full gusto. Like he really laughs, like he's having a good old time.
You can definitely tell when TJ is having fun, and I feel like here specifically, obviously he's having fun because it's trivia, but I think throughout this season's entirety, you just see TJ in a more lighthearted way, especially compared to last season, the season 39. But it's nice to see him having fun with this cast. It really is.
Yeah.
He likes this cast, point blank, period. And I knew he was gonna be happy to let them fall in that dang water. 30 feet above the ground. He loves pressing that button. Like, let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I was saying, the game is basically played in pairs, and there are 4 pairs going at a time, and they'll be on top of a structure above water, which they love doing to these people, and they have to answer a series of trivia questions.
It's because
and if they get the answer, I guess, yeah. If they get the answers correct, then all is good in the world. But if they get it wrong, they have a tube, and TJ will put a ball in it. Once they get 3 balls stacked, which is 3 incorrect answers, they then get yanked off the platform and flung basically into the water. And then he also explains that it's a men's elimination. So you kind of have to be strategic in who you pick as a partner, because it's all on the line at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And Keeks, you want to break down the pairs for us?
Yes. So TJ directs the challengers to pick their partners, and no one wants to pick Brad. And I'm like, dang, Brad, nobody wants to choose you either. This is crazy. And he sarcastically called himself like the trivia king, and we're like, since when? But
we know your history, Brad.
Right. But it was funny. So Flora takes a chance on Brad and gets with Brad. That's the first pair for the round 1. Cara and Ace, which look at that, they're reunited. Ace, be happy.
Which is smart. Just saying.
Cam and Steve, which I'm happy we talked about this. Cam separated from Leroy, and Tina and Derek. And then the pairs for round 2 will be Jay and Nicole, Adam and Avery, again, Superman and Superwoman here. And then Leroy and Veronica, which was very smart of Leroy to do, because Veronica is a beast at trivia, and Laurel and Ryan. And those were the pairs. Some of these I would have wanted them to be a little bit more separated. Like Jay and Nicole, I think it would have been in their best interest to separate, since they're each other's number 1s, or pretty much number 1, number 2s. And but aside from that, I feel like the pairings were pretty well. How do you guys feel about them?
I agree. Can I also say I'm like really loving Adam and Avery together. I don't know why. I feel like personality wise, they're like very mellow but like fun individuals. I don't know. Brandon, I saw that
I think
face. I guess you disagree.
Adam seems
Well-
more extroverted than Avery.
Yeah, I was
But you
gonna
need
say, I
that.
feel like I
Every
haven't.
relationship needs that.
But what have we seen of Avery so far in the season? She's barely gotten any camera time, like nothing. So I can't really even talk on it because they haven't really showed Avery this whole season. I've seen Adam. I know who Adam was compared to who Adam is now. He definitely was like the wild child back in the day, but now he seems more mature, and I actually enjoy him more than I think I enjoyed him earlier in the seasons.
Yes.
But Avery, I feel like has always been, I don't want to say boring, but like just like more chill, I guess.
Laid
I do
back,
like you,
mellow.
Avery. I'm just saying this season's edit is not giving you what you deserve. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know what it is? I don't think she has a main storyline, right? Like she's not the bad person. She's not like the lead competitor. She doesn't have a romance going on. She doesn't have beef with anyone. So she doesn't have a big storyline. To me, it's the glimpses you see Avery. Like even when they were up and like she didn't know an answer and he was like, I'm just gonna guess. And she like it's just those little moments that you get from her that like seem so humbling and genuine that
I want to say
Avery,
this
you're
though.
turning.
Whatever Avery is doing is keeping her out of elimination.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't even get brought up for the most part.
And she's good. She's not even a bad competitor. Like she's actually good.
She's been playing the middle for a little bit. But hey, like she does not get brought up. I've heard other people get brought up multiple times over Avery, and I'm like, are y'all forgetting about her too?
Yes,
and honestly, that's a smart
her.
way.
I disagree. That could hurt her because she may not get a star at all.
Well, here's the thing. Remember, Cara also promised, once I go down there, you got the star that I'm gonna earn. Don't worry about it. And
don't mean nothing.
that it does mean something because who's on the firing line right now? Cara.
Correct. But you don't know that she'll keep that end of the bar. You don't know what other, again, we're not seeing relationships forming. So we don't know what other conversations she might be having and other promises she's making to protect herself. Cara Maria has made it very clear. Her number one is Cara Maria, and she's going to protect Cara Maria at any cost, at any friendship. So,
but I do
that
think
could have just been a heat of the moment promise.
I do think Cara is strategic in what she says, and if she says it, she means it. So it wouldn't benefit her to not get her a star unless she didn't have a star. What else would she do with the star? You know, like unless she was thinking, okay, maybe give it to like Ace or Jay or something. But again, I think she needs cushion on the female side as well, and she's the next best bet.
Listen, Cara Maria, if you're listening out there, Brandon is a fan, girl. Hit him up next time you're in the city. I mean, catch up for a drink. Like, let's talk strategy because he's got your back through and through. I'm just messing with you, Brandon.
Yes. All right. So getting back into the daily. So questions were asked about previous challenges, like dailies from the season. It was kind of giving Big Brother with some of these questions. Like Big Brother does this. Like they do a test.
Same thing. Yeah.
Literally. And Big Brother fans, relax. We are not covering Big Brother season 26. I'm sorry. Even though some of us watch Big Brother, I'm not doing it. I'm not putting myself through that. However,
it's blame me. It's too much.
It's too much. No. It not even blame you. Blame Big Brother for that because it's just too much. But it did.
Rob
has
a podcast. Does a really good job though.
Yeah, Rob has a podcast, covers it like crazy. It's insane. But yeah, it was. It felt like that because for Big Brother, just a explanation of that. At the end they do like a big test and they ask them to like list the names, like who went out this time, etc., the elimination names, all that stuff. But I thought that was really good because it also keeps the challengers on their toes And it's like, dang, like I have to know how many seats are in the house. I need to know what color are the couches, and we'll get to a moment where like, anyway, but I did like that. And then there was also a lot of spelling questions, which I thought were interesting because there's a couple of educators, including Brad, and he was failing like badly. What were you gonna say, Brendan? Sorry.
Can I just say, and maybe it's just that I feel like I'm just a genius. I don't know. Can I just say these words that they were spelling incorrectly? I was like, come on. Like,
yeah,
it's not that hard. I mean, there are some words, like I think there were other
like
like
Reykjavik
cities from certain countries.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
like some words that are so random that you're like, okay, I get it. But there were some words that I was like, come on. And I can't think off the top of my head what they were, but while I was watching, I was like, come
yeah,
on.
there were a few. There were a few. I was more disappointed in Brad because I'm like, Brad, apparently you are an educator and you are messing up these words like back to back. Why are you
What kind
are you
what
not
kind of
learning?
teacher is he though?
I think he's a special education teacher. From what I remember. Okay. But he's been a teacher for a long time. So like I was just surprised by that.
Listen, all I could say is thank God for spell check. Some of y'all know my abilities with spelling. I be getting stuck on very simple words. So to all the people listening who aren't the best spellers, I got you. It's okay. You could be smart and not know how to spell a word.
I also think Brandon, because similar to you, I also was like, I know how to spell that. But I'm thinking maybe like just the pressure of them being above the water is probably like psyching them out. I'm just saying
want to
that
get
could
in
be
the water,
a
so I'm gonna make sure I get it correct. Like, and a lot of them weren't like, they weren't taking their time. They were kind of going through it. And I think like if there's no like time limit, just make sure you have it right before you lock it in.
I'm not gonna lie. Like Brad messing up authority, that was pretty bad. That was pretty,
that one was bad. And they did so bad that Brad and Flora got out first in the first round, and Brad knows for sure that there's a good chance he is going into elimination, but he says he doesn't blame anyone in the house if that is the case because he has been doing poorly, but it is an opportunity for him to go and get a star, which makes total sense. Yes, and we'll remember that. And then moving on to the second round, Ryan calls Laurel like the man of his dreams as a partner, which I was like, oh my God, that is crazy. But he was like, she is smart and sassy. And like Ryan and Laurel have always had a good relationship as well. It seems like they work very closely with one another and they seem to have each other high on each other's list of protection in the house. But unfortunately, Ryan and Laurel get out first as well. And I'm like, damn. And then
Ryan hurts himself pretty bad when he flings into the water, I think. Yeah, like in his confessional, I see him like kind of bruised up and everything. So it wasn't a pretty fall.
But did you guys see the way they get flung in the water? Like it's pretty brutal. Like all of them like are landing on their heads, their faces.
It's
like
brutal, but when you do that, you have to like know how to land in the water. I think it was Adam. Yeah, that was the only one that actually did it correctly. You have to go like you're diving in, because if not, you're gonna land and like get hurt. So I don't know if they tell them that beforehand, but I would expect production to do that, just because you can have some serious injuries if you don't land properly.
I don't expect production to tell them anything. I just expect the production to strap them up like, you've done this before, y'all should know, kind of thing. But I'm sure they obviously have like rescue teams on the side to just in case, like if someone does get extremely hurt. But Flora was even talking about like bruised ribs and such. So I can only imagine like the impact of the water on them. It's crazy. And then okay, so Veronica and Leroy, you know, they're surviving, and Veronica mentions like she really wants to win. or she's not sure if she wants to win because she's paired up with Leroy, and she does not want to put her own people at jeopardy, like Tina, her number one, since Rachel had left. So she wants to be smart about it. But ultimately, like, I'm like, Veronica, your best bet is winning. Like, don't fight it, girl. Just win.
Protect your star.
Yes. And then Ryan, since he was the first one out for round 2 with Laurel, Ryan really is hoping that Derek ends up winning or being in the middle group because it would benefit him, of course, to protect in terms of protection, since him and Derek are each other's number ones. And again, we got the emphasis of Ryan not feeling well, being bruised, hurt by the fall. So overall, like, people were just really hoping. And when it comes to trivia, it's really by chance. Like, you really
It's
can
hit
go
or miss.
whenever.
Yeah.
Hit or miss, exactly. So then we get to the bottom teams, and it's Brad, Flora, Steve and Cam, Laurel and Ryan, and Adam and Avery. And then the winners are Leroy and Veronica, which
Woo!
good job for Leroy for finally winning, and
Yay,
Veronica
Leroy.
as well. Yeah, I feel like that pair was good. I feel like they both helped each other out. It wasn't necessarily just Veronica
especially, and I think it was also smart, not only because Veronica's smart, so obviously picking her for trivia is the best choice, but I think they've had such a rocky relationship. Like, every season something happens, like, where they don't really trust each other. So for them to choose each other, I think, and actually winning is a chance for them to, like, kind of mend whatever's broken, I think, in a sense.
Yes.
So
yeah, I agree with that. And then the middle group is Cara and Ace, Nicole and Jay, and Tina and Derek. Also, another standout, Derek again. Derek was answering these questions on behalf of him and Tina. Yeah, he was going in. So shout out to Derek
at this
well.
rate is like the top. Yeah, he's the top guy at this point in the competition. Like, he's been like consistent and been killing it. And I don't think I can say that about any. Oh, the only other guys I would say are Ace and Jay, but Derek has been outperforming them, in my opinion.
I think he's like the dark horse of the season, right? That's the same. Dark horse.
Yeah, he's definitely coming out unexpected, but really kind of doing great overall, like you guys said. I think, looking at kind of where the placement was, like who won, the middle group and the losing team, nothing really surprises me. Like, it kind of, they fit in their place, I think. But key, because they did it again, where like the middle group, they kind of showed you like the what is it called?
The silhouette.
So I was just like, damn, again, like, we know who's gonna do it. Like, they need to change Avery's picture. I know, like,
I feel like I know all of their silhouettes. Like, I'm just like, okay, like, thanks for putting it out there. Who pretty much gets saved. I'm not sure what they're thinking, and it looks like they're just gonna keep doing that. So it is what it is at this point. So now that Leroy and Veronica won, Leroy talks about going in, and if he can win the elimination round, he is going to get a star for his baby girl, for Cam, which makes sense.
And we all know
who he's going to take it from. He says it.
Why not?
I mean, he said it.
Makes sense.
He said it. I'm going to take it from Flora. So I expected that, not surprised by that at all. And now we get back to the house. And Lena, I don't know if you want to take that away.
Yeah, so we get back to the house. We kind of see like the table set up with all these yummy different pizzas. We have the challengers sitting around, toasting each other, chatting. It's really fun.
Can I just say something really quick before you go into it? Anytime from now on that I hear pizzas involved in the challenge house, I know some shit's about to go down. But continue.
That is very true. We have seen it season after season, fights and drama that always erupt after pizza. But this seems like it is a very fun, flowing time. Everyone's having a good time. Ryan really thanks everyone for being so supportive on his journey to stay sober. Laurel in her confessional talks about how proud of him she is and that she really wants him to stay and continue to support him through this journey. And again, it was just a really lovely moment for the challengers until Ace decides to tell us a story. And I don't know about you guys, but once he started talking, I had no idea where the hell this was going. I was just like, what is happening?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the MJ that I had just smoked or something, but I was just like, what is happening? Ace, what are you? The story
it was given that.
Yeah, I was
like,
just
were
like,
they
okay.
allowed a little something, like,
or like, are they lit
But-
or whatever? Because they were drinking wine too, so I was like, maybe they're a little like buzzed, but I just thought it was so random, and it was funny. But then he goes into like the little sales pitch and pretty much brings up that he wants Adam and Brad to go face each other into elimination. And yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
So I think I don't think what he was saying was to be malicious towards Brad at all. I think in a sense Brad was kind of giving them the hint that he kind of needs to star regardless. So I think he was setting Brad up correctly, and I think he also knows that Adam needs to star back. So why not give two strong competitors the chance to go at it? And he's technically friends with both of them. So, like, you know, I don't think he was doing anything intentionally. But from that conversation, Brad gets mad and he says basically it was a sales pitch, like you said, Keeks, to get him out, or not him out, but for him to go down to compete, basically. And again, I think Brad was taking it too much. Like he wasn't seeing the bigger picture in a sense. Like I think in a way we're all expecting Brad to show up, so why not go down and go get it? Campaign yourself to go down.
But we've seen Brad do that. We've seen Brad flip the switch like suddenly, like through previous seasons where, like, you know, whether it's a joke or he's kind of part of it, and then someone just says one thing and it triggers him and he flips. And he's telling Avery, basically, tell him that I'm coming for his star. So it definitely, I think Ace really kind of approached it, like you guys said, very lighthearted. Brad did not take it that way. He felt a little bit like, you know, a spotlight was put on him that he wasn't necessarily ready for. And I don't think he wanted to go down just yet.
And no, I think he might have taken it to heart because he was mentioning earlier in the episodes that he was closest to Ace and Cara, I believe. So I guess after like saying that and seeing then what happened, he was like, okay, like I thought we were like closer than that in a sense.
Yeah. I do think that Brad was ready to go in because of what he said right after the challenge, the daily. I think it's just he didn't expect Ace to be the one to put the spotlight on him, like you said, Lena. And I do think again that it was more like, I don't think Ace was going into it thinking like strategically or anything like that. I think he was just literally trying to make conversation, have fun, whatever. They're all cracking jokes and everything, and it just so happened to land that way. I don't think that he was like, oh, like let me try to put their names out there so that they can go head to head with one another, and one of them, at least one of my allies, gets a star. I don't think he went into it like that at all. I think the wine was flowing, and he just happened to say whatever was on his mind. But yeah, I do think that Brad was just a little sensitive about it because it came from Ace.
Yeah. And then, you know, Adam is talking to Ryan and Derek, and he basically says he's ready to go in. Like Adam is saying, like, I want to go in. I want to get my star. You know, Ryan is he's a little more cautious because he knows he's the other guy that's up on the line to be nominated into the elimination. But we said it earlier, he wasn't feeling the best. He definitely had said it multiple times. He was happy that Derek was in the middle group to help protect him. He doesn't want to go in, but he is concerned about Tina, and he calls her messy and that she doesn't really know what she wants to do, and you can't really count on her, especially after earlier in the season she kind of says Rachel's name when she
Was
should
it
have.
Ryan or Adam that called her messy?
It was Ryan.
I think it was Ryan. It was Ryan.
Yeah.
So that was surprising to me, because I think it was the last episode, he was kind of defending Tina in a sense when it came to the girls' elimination, and he was in the middle group, and he was saying don't underestimate Tina.
So yes, in terms of a physical competitor, don't underestimate Tina, but in terms of a strategic political player, that's where he's calling her messy. So I don't think he's coming for her, he's just saying that she's not the most strategic when it comes to like politicking, and you can't always count on her vote. I think that's kind of where he came from. But let me know if you guys thought any different.
No, that I agree with that, Lena.
Yeah. Well, Keeks, take us into the nominations.
Okay, so for nominations, again, in the nominations or middle group, it's Cara, Ace, Nicole, Jay, Tina, and Derek. They all agree that Steve should not go in because Steve has already gone in before, which I was surprised. I was like, oh,
same.
Okay. I was like, so Steve is building enough relationships that the whole house is, or the middle group is backing him. And then
you,
they all, I was like, okay, Steve. And then they all agreed.
Can I also just say,
Mm-hmm.
just touching on Steve. Steve, I never realized how funny he was until I guess this season. He's a clown. He was having me laughing the whole entire time.
He had some jokes while he was doing it with Cam. The Daily, he said that it felt like it was a moment where like they separated. He was like, "Oh, it looks like a breakup." Was it a breakup scene?
A horror love moment.
Yeah. And then you're just like, "No!" Yeah, I thought that was funny. But yeah, Steve can be funny. But yeah, clearly he's protected in the house. The fact that they all agreed that he shouldn't go in. I said, "Okay, look at you, Steve." Then they all agreed to vote Adam since he wants to go in. And I said, "Okay, Adam, clearly you have this middle group on your side because they just said, yeah, put in Adam." And then for the second person to go in, it's between Brad and Ryan. And Tina throws her vote to Steve because she doesn't want to vote. And I'm like, Tina,
once again,
please. Like,
that's what Ryan said it. She's messy Tina.
Right. And then Ace ends up being the deciding vote because it's to Ryan and to Brad. And pretty much Ace decides Brad, which I was surprised about because, again, we talked about him bigging up Brad earlier in the episode. At the start of the episode, we get some insight on his relationship with Brad. So I'm like, okay, you're just gonna.
But this kind of goes back to what we were discussing earlier. I think Ace is a very like neutral player. He doesn't. I don't feel like if he's like close to you, he's not gonna take that over someone who, I don't know, he might see as a better competitor this season per se. So like, and he was saying the story about Ryan. I forget specifically what it was about. I think it was like passing like snacks to him over his bed or something. But he said like he's gonna find a way to repay him so that he doesn't have to go into an elimination if he doesn't want to, especially because we all know right now Ryan is a little injured. So I think he's looking at it that way. So why not just vote for Brad to go in and get the star that he knows he can get?
Yeah, I agree with that point too. I think they were also just mainly considering that Ryan was very injured. It seemed like because Ryan's bruise looked bad. So
crazy.
The group vote ends up being Brad and Adam, and when they put the names up, like people are surprised. They're like, "Oh, okay, interesting." But Brad and Adam are ready to go. They have no problems going against another. And they're just like, screw it. One of us is gonna come out of there with a star. and if it's not you, it's me kind of thing. So
yeah. And it was good. There definitely was no drama. I think we've seen less like people kind of accepting their fate. And again, we're coming closer and closer to the end. Like you need that star to make it to the final. So if not now, when Cara Maria says it too, at one point she goes like, what are people waiting for? Like the show is moving, like, it's going to come to an end and the final will be here before you know it. So we move on to the elimination now, Brad versus Adam. The elimination is called Cheat Codes. I'm not a huge fan of this, but Brennan, what did you feel? Break down the rules for us.
Yeah, so I think this is the game that they were originally supposed to play when Tina, I believe, was supposed to go down, if I'm not mistaken. And that's why they were saying in the beginning, oh, it's brought back again. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think basically the overall game is there's 2 game controllers in the arena, right? So the players need to run from a board that reveals a cheat code pattern. And you kind of have to remember the pattern, which has like left, right, up, down, on 2 different colors, though. So it'll do a whole pattern, and you have to memorize it, run back to your board, and use your feet to input the digits that you've seen on the cheat code. And then essentially, once you've successfully entered the code, then you hit enter, and then your light goes off. The first person to lock in their code is the winner if the code is correct.
Yeah.
So then
go ahead.
Yeah, so then Leroy, it's funny. Leroy was looking at the board, or not the board, the game, and TJ asked, like, Leroy, so you want to come down? And he was like, hell no. He was like, absolutely not. This is not my game. I don't want to do it. Let them play. I'm good. Like, and I agree. If I was there and I saw that, I would not want to be down there. Absolutely.
Correct.
At all. And TJ kind of knew that Leroy was going to say no. He's like, you sure? He's like, hell, absolutely not. I'm not going down there. And I don't blame him. Like, who the hell wants to do that Dance Dance Revolution ass game? No, not a.
Whenever it comes to something like that, where it's memorization and like footwork, like you can mess it up so easily. Like it's truly such a chance. You can't say that this person's better than this person. I don't blame Leroy. Cam, he's like, girl, you got to go get your star next episode. Sorry, I can't help you out with this one.
Yeah. And Steve even says it, like, in order to succeed in that type of elimination, like a gamer would excel very well. And he's talking about all these codes, like when it comes to gaming, etc. And we see that, like, clearly Adam has an advantage there.
Yeah, for sure. Adam is like laser focused. He's only taking 1 to 2 directions at a time. So we definitely see him running back and forth a lot more. But he says it really early on. He was like, I'm not going to take a chance. I'm not going to try to memorize too much and then mess up. Whereas Brad doesn't have necessarily the same strategy. And we really do see him struggle. We see him click enter and start again a few times. So he's not.
When I saw that, yeah, he was getting a lot of the rows of patterns, but every time I saw that he clicked enter, I was like, oh, he's starting over basically.
Yeah.
Like he didn't pay attention. And I know, like, in an elimination, I know he gets a little flustered sometimes, but I didn't expect him to fumble this that bad. And it was kind of sad to see, because I was like, I like Brad. I just wish he would have taken his time a little more.
Also, I wonder how long the elimination actually took, because it looked like, I mean, I don't know. It looked like Adam was just leaving Brad behind with his strategy and method. Like, I'm like, was it even a close race at this point? Because it didn't seem like
it. Might have been that Brad actually was like, check, and they were like, no, it's wrong. And then he was like trying to figure out where he messed up and had to start all over multiple times, whereas Adam was just like taking a stroll through the park, which was the smarter thing to do.
I wonder if Adam truly only had to do it once and was able to get it on the first try and didn't have to like reset, but they didn't show us that. I'm pretty impressed if
he
he's
was
able.
going so slow and taking it
Yeah.
bit by bit that I would not be surprised if he didn't have to do it twice.
Fair. Yeah, fair. Well, unfortunately, we definitely see Brad fumble the ball in this game. He does lose the elimination. Adam is the winner. And, you know, I feel bad for Brad. You definitely can see that he was distracted this season. It wasn't our usual Brad head in the game. And hopefully we'll see him again in the future and he'll come back and show us the all-star that he actually is. And I know for him, it was kind of a hard loss, especially coming off of All Stars 3, where he said he kind of had his winning streak that he's never had before. So this has been quite a season for him, a challenging season.
Yeah, and also like Brad, don't take it to heart. Like there are people that come on these seasons all the time and they've won multiple times, and sometimes they're the first or second to get out. It's just hit or miss.
Yeah.
So you had an off season, that's fine. Come back and be the challenger that we know you to be. So
yeah, we'll see Brad again. I have no doubt. Like TJ said, we will definitely see you again. I'm not surprised at all. That, or I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back very soon. Like Brad, I feel like is a staple. He's been on all of the All-Star seasons. I do think that like production should make people take breaks, but hey, if he's available and willing, go ahead, come back.
Brad,
is that a subliminal message?
Is that a what?
Who was that for, Keeks?
Oh, that's for several of you challengers that make this your job and your careers.
Do they go on vacations by any chance?
They do. They go on many vacations together and they recruit people like fucking crazy too. If you haven't realized through the Twitterverse. But
let's
yes,
reel it in, family. Let's reel it in, pod fam.
Yeah,
take us to what happened to the star.
All right, so Adam wins, and Adam takes Ace's star, and he's like, "All right, thank you." And I expected that. I didn't expect Adam to take Steve's star. I think, yeah, I didn't expect that to happen at all. So he takes it, and that leaves our final star holders for the episode as Adam, Steve, Leroy, Cara, Nicole, and Veronica. And that's pretty much it. Not much happened. Again, this episode, honestly, the fact that we even talked for 48 minutes about this episode is crazy because not much happened. But those are our star holders, y'all. I was in and out of the episode. I'm not gonna lie. Like, trivia had some funny moments, of course, but like I can't really say I can't pinpoint a funny ass moment, or like I can't really tell you in full detail because again, I was just in and out of the episode, and there weren't really any shining moments aside from like obviously Ryan getting more into his story and his past. But there was no major drama in this episode either, which I'm sure they're probably like, we gotta chill because it looks like next episode we're gonna get the Nicole, Cara, Laurel blow up.
Yep.
So how about you guys? What do you guys think about the episode overall?
Go ahead, Brandon.
I think it was a chill episode. Like that, like nothing major happened. I think highlighting Ryan's sobriety journey was a high point in the episode. Was happy to learn more about that. And the drama, I wish there was more of an aftershock after the whole Ace and Brad thing, but I feel like we were kind of left high and dry. We didn't really hear much about it afterwards. So it wasn't fulfilling in a sense. I would give it like a 6.5 because of Ryan, but a 6, yeah. Nothing major.
Same sentiments. I agree. A 6 at best. Thank you, Ryan, for your story. But this episode definitely was quite it dragged a little bit, I have to say, like between the competition, between the elimination, it just kind of was there. But I do have to say, Brandon, we seem to be on quite the same wavelength today. We want to like talk all at the same time. Our brains are firing at the same time
I
today.
know. And can I say something? Because you mentioned the final episode star holders. I think of all the people that have stars, is Cara the only one to have her star from episode 1?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, Steve as well.
But he lost
Didn't
it.
he?
And
He lost
Oh
it
yeah,
and
he got it
back.
back. Yes, you're right. See,
Yeah, Cara's the only one. So again, this is a different game for her where she's playing defense. So
yeah,
that's something to call out. Just saying.
No, I mean she's doing a good job protecting her star. She's doing what she can, and at the
She's
end of the
doing
day,
what
like,
she needs to do.
Right. I'll give her props for that. Do what you got to do, girl, to survive. Because everybody is going to come for you, like everybody.
And that
So
is the Cara that we love.
Yes. So that concludes the episode. And looking forward to the next one because I know that there's going to be some drama, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Laurel and Nicole's relationship, but we will be seeing some drama. I did want to take this opportunity to talk about some of the drama going on Twitter. So apparently last episode, we missed a major blow up. According to some of the challengers, they say that it was like a Jerry Springer moment between like Tina, Flora, Nicole, whoever. I don't even know, but we missed out on it because production edited out for whatever reason. And this, again, we talked about it time and time again. We are so frustrated with production cutting out these moments for whatever reasons because it just leaves out a storyline. We're not really understanding why people lie where they lie. Like, for example, Flora, she seems to be against Cara and Tina because of this blow up. And we're not truly understanding where it came from, like she's making side comments about them. Tina and Flora have been going back and forth on social media. Like Flora's calling her tampon Tina.
Yeah. Savage. Can I mention the savagery that like Flora is coming in hard for Tina, and I'm here for it. I'm sorry, but it is very funny to see two grown-ass women coming for each other on Twitter. I live for it.
Yeah, so so wait, hold on. So Flora says real quick, let me just read this real quick. So this is how Flora feels about tampon Tina, as she calls her, or shocking that TT, and that doesn't stand for dynamite. She this inserts herself in a situation that doesn't involve her or has anything to do with her. Someone needs attention. LOL. Miss Tina just likes to stir up the pot and talk bullshit as usual. She throws her good friend into the lion's den, then threatens people if they don't vote her away. And now Miss Tina spreads bullshit. I guess that's why her breath always smelled, because there's a lot of shit coming out of it. For the record, I have absolutely no beef with Veronica. On the contrary, I actually like her a lot. Never said anything negative about her. So my thoughts in all this is that Tina seeks attention because she doesn't get it at home. She likes to stir up the pot. She has nothing else to do with her life. I adore Jasmine, adore Nicole. I truly do like Veronica because she has never done anything to me. I don't like you, Tina, because you're just a toxic person. You're friends for $1. So please, as we made a deal before, you keep my name out of your mouth and I'll keep your name out of my mouth. And by the way, for everyone's information, I was ready to take Jasmine's place and ask, but was not allowed. Both Veronica and Jazz deserve to stay. Does anyone think that Tina would step up and take her friend's place in the pit, or she would be the first person to save herself and vote her friends in, as we've seen? But let's make this fun and vote. Who thinks Tina would offer herself to go to elimination? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, it's just a lot. And again, this is...
Did Tina respond?
Tina's responded on Twitter here and there.
She hasn't said much though.
Yeah, no, she's been going back and forth too, but it's the fact that they don't follow each other, so they're being sent screenshots of what each other is saying. So I feel like they're
Okay.
missing things. So yeah,
Hold
so
on.
Tina, it's just a lot.
Can I just mention that I love after Flora talks all that shit, she says, keep your name out of my keep my name out of your mouth and I'll keep your name out of my mouth. It's like you just dragged her through the mud, like too late. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah, like she said all that
Right.
just to call her all these things. So apparently Tina said of the whole moment with Veronica and Jazzy and Nicole, Tina said, my understanding, Nicole assured V that she was going to save her to get a star. In order to seal the deal, Jazz and Flora convinced Nicole that V was working with Cara. Essentially, they wanted to exploit and cause confusion in Nicole to get their way. It was desperate and dirty. So I'm guessing that was the moment as well that we did not get to see Jazzy and Flora trying to convince Nicole, or prior to the elimination round. Again, we're missing important things that are happening, and it's pissing me off, production. It really is. Like, you guys are not making this a fun watch, because it's like we're looking for clues at this point and trying to piece everything together.
Yeah, it's like a murder mystery almost. Like, we don't know why certain people are voting the way they are. We don't know why certain people are being like, it's not making sense to the viewer.
With that whole exchange, again, we don't know, but just hearing that whole exchange, I wish Flora wasn't giving it so much attention. Like, I feel like it's really still bothering her, and it's what, a year and a half later. I don't know if it needed that much energy, and I feel like Tina, in my opinion, kind of was the winner of that argument, because again, she stated the facts and she was like, it was dirty, done. Like, I don't know, I feel like she was dragging her through the mud for what?
So Tina, like, one of the tweets that she in response to Flora's message or comments was, tampon Tina, go for the designer brand. The knockoff tampons will always leave you disappointed and very leaky. Hashtag Tina's thoughts. Tampon Tina, I'll be up your pussy. Hashtag Tina's thoughts at Veronica. You like that one? And then I'm like, what's happening? But yeah, I mean, hey, there's things going on behind the scenes. So if y'all don't follow these people, make sure to follow them. Make sure to follow these accounts that report on these things, or check Reddit, whatever the case may be, because there's a lot going on. Even after a year of the show being done, these people clearly still have feelings now that they're seeing these conversations, seeing what happened behind the scenes or whatever when they were not in the rooms. So it's all in all very interesting. Definitely more interesting than whatever the hell we got last season with season 39. And I'm always going to say that every episode probably, but entertaining nonetheless. So unless you guys have anything else y'all want to add regarding the drama on in Twitterverse or Instagram world.
Nope.
I don't have anything, but I think next episode I'm going to have a lot, just based on the preview.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there.
So that's all for today. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Challenge All Stars 4, episode 7, with your faves Reality Unloaded podcast. Please make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tune into our Instagram page. We'll be putting out more shorts, more posts. We're also going to be covering a new show. We're going to be covering RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 9 starting tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. And thank you guys again for your time. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.